Hey, if somebody told you that you shouldn't be fighting in your marriage, they were wrong. They shouldn't have told you that.
Yeah, but we have to fight fair.
Hmm.
You and me, we got this. Gonna take some practice. Superpower oneness. We are marriaging.
You said the right different thing. Okay, we didn't.
Okay. All right. Wonder Twin Powers activate.
We are marriaging.
I'm Ricky.
And I'm Nova, and we are marriaging, changing environments, activating your oneness superpower.
And some of you might be going, oneness superpower. What is oneness superpower?
Our daughter explained it perfectly today. She was like, isn't that when you and daddy come together and you guys have a great conversation?
That's
True.
from a 7-year-old.
She's 7. That's amazing.
Yeah, 7-year-olds are smart. And that's exactly what this is about. It's about us coming together, discovering what superpowers that we hold, and then bringing those into alignment so that we can do big things.
Yeah, and tonight we want to talk about actually a really important topic, and it is about fighting fairly. There's always going to be conflict in your marriage, and it's learning how to fight in a way that honors one another.
Yeah, so we're going to be discussing fighting for the next couple weeks.
So tonight we want to talk a little bit about even what we've taken people through when we've done premarital counseling with them, and we talk about their past and their past being education for them, as opposed to using it as ammunition to when they fight or when things come up and they've been triggered by something that their spouse says.
Ammunition is interesting to your past. If she was, had this crazy past and she made a lot of mistakes, and I knew about that, and then I'm mad at her, and I'm thinking in my mind, how can I really get to her? How can I take it to her? I really want to win, and maybe it's because I'm losing an argument, and I know that I'm wrong, and I'm so deep in trying to prove that I'm right, even though I know I'm wrong. I start to dig up her past, her history, and I use it against her. When we got married, sometimes that would come in to play where she was on trial, I was or maybe whatever the scenario was on trial, and I was the defendant and she was the plaintiff. Is that the right word? Plaintiff?
Yeah.
Defendant? I feel very smart right now. I'm impressing myself. And then I'm like doing everything I can to show, like Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, you're wrong here, you said this there. I start scrutinizing and putting her basically on the stand so that I can prove that I'm right. So let's say I won, because there's a lot of times I did win. And ultimately she says, okay, you're right, I'm wrong, I'm, whatever, those things you said are true. I guess I'm just, a bad person and you win.
We've met with couples who have had, really wild and crazy sexual pasts as well. And so...
Hold on, just time out.
Sorry.
I just want to point for the record, she said the word sex before I did this episode. That hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You said it first. Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
No.
That is kind of something that people end up fighting over, as opposed to having empathy and compassion on with their past.
That's right.
They bring it up to, was like, well, you know what, you were you slept around and you did all these things, so whatever, just using it as ammunition as opposed to just education. Like, you know what, he might feel right now that not worthy.
That's pretty unfair. I mean, because listen, your past is your past, and so for me to keep bringing it up, or for you to keep bringing it up, whether it has to do with sexual issues or just
or
family issues, it's not fair. So that's why we're saying there is good fighting, but it has to be fair, right?
Yeah.
So there's no below the belt punches. When you're fighting fair, then you're not. We're suggesting you're not digging up the past,
bringing up the past,
and using it against you. In fact, I'm using your past as a education about you. So and
what might bring your triggers, and you don't want to trigger the other person.
That's
so
right.
Being able to speak in a way that is honoring and loving and kind. And I think too, what probably another thing that we could share is just not speaking in code when we're fighting fair. Like, let's say we're having a fight about I mean, everybody says taking out the trash or whatever, but let's just use it as an example. Anyway,
I don't think we've ever thought about taking out the trash.
This is probably not our greatest example.
Okay, what's an example that we found?
Well, driving, but that's another episode
So
because that's a whole thing.
There it is.
Yeah.
Came up.
Yeah, it did.
Let me think. What's our biggest driving? Okay, but let's say taking out the trash. Okay.
Yeah. No, let's say taking out the as opposed to wow, this trash is sure full. I mean, my mom always had to take out the trash, you know, as opposed to going, hey, the trash is full. Can you just? I mean, I think I've struggled with that, and honestly, the more that we grew in trust in our relationship, so over time, trust is built. So I am more, I guess I'm more trusting to share the truth without there being any kind of a combative response.
There has to be a commitment made to speak truth, and the Bible would say speak truth in love. So there's a tenderness or like a gentleness. That's the love part. The truth is probably a little bit more bold, or maybe even a little bit more uncomfortable. It's having to say, hey, you know, I don't like it when you do this or say that, or can you try not to behave this way or that way?
Like the truth is, if we know each other's garbage and we try to bring that, it's just going to make it worse. And so we have to address that. It's let's not bring up the past. We have to talk about this scenario, this moment right here. It could be layers, but you have to speak about that thing. If you're mad that you parked in my parking spot, let's talk about that, not just like you. And here's probably another thing is refrain from using the words you always, you never, right? It's not fair to do that, because the truth is, if I say you're always so argumentative or that's not the truth. I mean, I could say, you know, there have been times when I felt you were argumentative. So it's changing the verbiage of the always never stuff is really, it just builds walls. It's so unhealthy.
And going back to truth and love, it's actually not true. It's not you
true.
Can't say that
no.
always or never happens. It's just not true.
Yeah.
Because I can't read your mind.
Yeah, and I can't read your mind. And so we have to speak honestly to each other.
So you really study each other, and you don't use your past as ammunition. You use it as history and education, right? And then you speak truth and love, but you say what you want to say. Like don't speak in code. Those are some big things that we had to learn.
Yeah, we did have to learn those things.
Practice always makes perfect, and repetition is really according to.
Wait, does it always make perfect?
Mostly makes perfect, right? By the way, there's the right kind of practice and the wrong kind of practice. We learned that from our son's baseball coach, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Every single week, we're going to give you
homework.
Some of you have really taken us up on this homework thing, and we've gotten some awesome testimonies and stories of some of you activating your oneness superpower through the homework.
Taking us up on the sticky notes, and we feel so encouraged that you guys are actually listening and then doing the homework and really working together.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Got the remote control. Yes. Which is, it might sound cheesy to you, but it will work if you want to do this homework. So I have the control right now, okay? So essentially, we're going to bring an issue up that we have addressed in the past and maybe we haven't resolved. So I have a tendency to really elevate when I'm a very excitable person. I don't
passionate.
Know if you, is it passionate? I call it passionate, and she calls it angry. And so because my voice is getting louder, my body language is doing this, and my eyes are bulging. She has the audacity to call that anger, okay, but I call it tremendous passion. So she called me out on that. I didn't like it. But it was unresolved, right? So I'm going to bring that up. This is your homework assignment. Find something that's unresolved. Are we saying that you should fight for your homework?
Yeah.
Yeah, but fight fairly. So I have the control. So I'm going to say to Nova, this is the control stick. We're going to call that remote control. I'm going to say, hey, when I am passionate about what I'm expressing to you, it's not fair for you to call it anger. That really bums me out. Okay, so she grabs, now she's going to be in control of the control stick, but before she takes control of the conversation, she's going to reiterate what I said.
So what I'm hearing you say, Ricky, is that when we are fighting and you elevate or you get louder, when you really believe that it's passion, and when I call it anger, it bums you out, it hurts your feelings.
That's accurate. So now I'm handing control over to her because she repeated exactly what I said, and I'm satisfied that she heard me.
I did hear you.
Okay, so now she's going to respond.
So when you elevate and you get really loud, it doesn't feel like an invitation to a conversation with you. It feels as though I'm being scolded, or I don't receive it as love. I receive it as combative.
Okay, so now she's handing the control back over to me, but before she does that, she needs to know that I know exactly what she said. So you're saying to me that I'm combative and I'm not speaking to you in love.
No.
Okay, so then that's not what she said. Is that what she said? Nope.
No.
So she's going to take control back because she's not satisfied that I'm fully getting what she's expressed to me. And she's going to reiterate it.
Yeah, so when we're talking, or we're fighting, we'll say, and you elevate in your voice and you become just very excitable, it's challenging for me to receive it as love. It feels combative.
Okay, so now she's handing control over to me, and what I heard you say, Nova, is when I elevate while we are exchanging pleasantries, that's very fancy. It is you perceive that what I would say is passion, you perceive it as scolding you or coming against you, and then it's hard for you to go beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So here's what would happen over the course of the next several minutes is as we exchange our thoughts, and what I'm not doing, if I have to repeat back to Nova before I get control of the conversation, what I'm not doing is thinking about what I'm going to say as she's speaking, which happens a lot.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, with us, with you, with all
everyone.
of us, because we want to be heard, and most of us are more concerned about our argument than really listening.
Being heard, yeah. We're more concerned about you got to hear me as opposed to understanding
That's right.
your point of view and how you are feeling in the moment.
So the control stick, right, will help that.
The talking stick.
We can call it talking stick. I call it the control stick, because you can't
what
have
I'm hearing
control.
You say is,
let's have a fight about that.
Yeah.
You guys, we should just fight right now in front of. I don't know what we're doing. Okay, we are going to encourage you. How long should they do this? Because what if it gets heated? Like, we're telling them to fight. They're bringing up an unresolved issue, and what if the remote control starts, here, and then next thing you know, it's flying.
Let's not go beyond 20 minutes.
20 minutes is good.
20 minutes is good.
You get 10, I get 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's good.
So, to reiterate our homework assignment, one unresolved issue,
talking stick,
remote control stick,
or whatever, some cute like feather pen, I don't know.
Remote control, maybe. Yeah. And 20 minutes on the clock. After that 20 minutes, you probably want to just white flag it. We can resolve this at another time.
At another time.
Yeah.
We're excited to hear if you guys take us up on the talking stick.
That's right. You can comment below if you've done that.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm marriaging.
I'm marriaging.
We're marriaging. So happy marriaging, and we'll see you guys next week.